Let's talk about connectedness at work. Now, as I mentioned in the first video, this was an area that was kind of a personal struggle for me. Really understanding how my connectedness strength really benefited a professional environment. So I'm really excited to dive into some of these pieces with you all today. Now, while every strength has leadership qualities or can play a role in leadership, having connectedness high in your top strengths is, in my opinion, an invaluable talent when it comes to getting people on board with an idea or a goal and in leading teams and groups with purpose. Purpose is something that's going to come up quite a bit throughout the next couple of videos. It's really the guiding light for you with high connectedness. So at work, you likely help those around you understand the why of the work that they've been assigned. Things like how that specific task or project plays into the bigger picture and helps people, your strength can also help people feel purposeful in what they do, no matter how seemingly disconnected that task or project or title might feel from kind of the bigger vision. And when I think about this, I think about like an accountant for an art museum, right? Or an accountant for any sort of like art creation space. On paper, it's like, okay, you have like no real connection to that, right? But as someone with connectedness, you would be able to look at that role and the purpose of the organization and find a very direct path to how that person is impacting the overall goals and purpose of that organization. And so while other people might be able to say like, yes, without the accountant, the company is not a company, it does not work, there's no money, etc., it's likely you can kind of draw some more colorful lines there. I would imagine that and when you look back at your work history, you have really thrived in any work environment that allows you to counsel, mentor, coach, teach, manage, guide, etc. Because of your ability to listen and see the bigger picture and help connect the dots for other people as it pertains to whatever challenge or opportunity they're facing. I would venture to guess that when there are major challenges at work, big changes in projects or priorities, crises, etc., you're probably someone that people look to for answers, explanations, and help understanding the why of what's happening and really helping them understand how to move forward. This is something that an area where you really thrive is in a challenging or crisis like environment, seeing all the moving pieces, being able to organize them and understand how they're all going to move forward. Different than what we talked about with a ranger in terms of like the perfect organization of pieces. For you, it's more seeing the organic organization that exists currently and understanding and having faith that that's going to work out and being able to kind of bring others along with you to minimize the panic or minimize the overwhelm when there is big change that people have to navigate. So, a potential blind spot for you with connectedness at work is that it's possible you come off to others as being a little too idealistic or a little too fluffy in your thinking or your presentation of, how you're going to get from A to B. And, normally a work environment is an environment that has a real need for concrete things and for things that are clear about what needs to get done. And so it can be a little bit of a blind spot for you where you see what needs to be done. You understand how it's going to get done. You have faith that it'll get done, but not everybody can see that in the way that you do. And so sometimes that trust can kind of come off as like blind trust or this like fluffiness, or just like too idealistic. So to help with this would be a great opportunity to enlist the help of either someone who has high communication to help you sort of voice the things you know to be true, or someone who's a little bit more nuts and bolts, detail oriented, here and now. Someone that can help you to actually put words and strategy to those pieces that you see and understand and have faith in the fact that they're going to work out. Finding people who can support you and actually communicating that, or creating, visuals or something of that nature to bring other people along, would be really, really helpful for you in these challenging situations. So you're able to kind of pull together the whole picture and see the bigger picture. Now it's your job to be able to disseminate that to others. And sometimes that might require help from people who have strengths in those areas. Another thing to keep an eye on, and I want to preface that this is a very important skill that you have naturally, but it can come off in a certain way. So another thing to keep an eye on at work, especially if you are a leader of in any way, shape, or form, is your tendency to react more calmly and passively to challenging news, big changes, et cetera, et cetera. You tend to react more calmly than other people because you have this ability to see the bigger picture and kind of connect the dots on big shifts and understand the reason why. So they may not phase you quite as much as they might phase other people. And especially if you're in a leadership position, you're likely getting more information anyway. So that combined with your connectedness could come off to direct reports as, oh, this isn't a big deal. I don't know why you're so upset about this. Get over it. And that's not at all what you intend. I know that to be true. It's important that you create space for the people on your team to be able to express their feelings, to vent, to ask questions, to state their frustrations, by kind of creating this space where you're not necessarily responding that much. You are simply listening, taking it all in, providing a space to feel seen, heard, and appreciated. Once their feelings have been validated, that's a time where you can step in and offer maybe a more philosophical response, or offer your explanation of why you believe it's all going to work out. But it's first really important to make sure that other people are able to express their feelings about what's going on, because it's likely very different from how you're feeling about what's going on. And then finally, if you are feeling unsatisfied at work, if you are feeling disconnected, if you're feeling frustrated, burnt out, it may be because you're struggling to see how your current day-to-day plays into the bigger picture. So this is a really great opportunity to take some time to really lean into this strength of connectedness and find the answer to that question of, like, how does this work that I'm doing play into the bigger picture of the organization, of the world, of society, whatever it is that's important for you. And know that if the purpose isn't bold enough for you, it may be time to make a change. It's likely that you need to be in an environment that has a strong purpose, has strong values, has strong vision for the future. Because otherwise there just might be this disconnect, and it might feel blah to you. So just know that if you're in that situation where you're feeling disconnected and you're feeling about things, there could be a good reason for that. And the answer might be to find something new, but there could also be ways that you could figure out and really get connected with the mission, vision, values of the organization and find those connections, even if they're not the strongest, most purpose-driven connections, if that makes sense. So that's a little bit about how connectedness can show up in life. The biggest takeaway is leadership. You have a natural ability to lead, to make people feel seen, to help them see the bigger picture, connect the dots, etc. So lean into this, but also keep an eye out for those blind spots. We're going to talk about how the strength shows up in life in the next video, so I will see you over there.